Hello and welcome to the Digital Juice Bar, the only podcast that can, in fact, be held back by a 7-nation army. I'm Hoodlie.
And I'm KnightmareAlpha.
And again, I hope someone understood that music reference.
It's not that hard. It's a pretty popular song.
I know, but just like... I don't know. I usually don't think of those references until like just before we record, so I never really know. Whatever. The intro is irrelevant. It's just a thing I say at the beginning. So, first off, sorry it took so long. College, stupid stuff gets in the way. And just a quick announcement. I actually started a second channel recently called Hoodlie's House of Cards. You can go check it out if you're interested in really subpar videos where I talk about Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's really all it is. It's just a channel where I talk about card games. So if you subscribed for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos, you're probably not listening to this. But if you are interested in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or the new Digimon game, you can go check it out if you would like. I don't know if I sold that well, but I don't really care. So
maybe you should care. Maybe you should care and get more engagement.
So anyway, what have you been up to? Because again, I'm just kind of borked today. I don't know why. Like it's just been so long since we've actually recorded this, and then like it took me forever to actually edit the previous one because I had to draw the picture and just. On the right side, I did between. It's been so long since the last episode. I actually went through the trouble of drawing myself a new profile picture.
I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, especially since the last one I was using, I drew on a 3DS like 4 years ago.
Yeah, if it works.
It just always looked really lame, but I drew a new one.
Yeah. So what have I been up to? I don't know, not much. A lot of gaming. This year is just a mess, honestly. Yeah. I just don't know what to do with it sometimes.
Punch it in the face.
That's not going to help it. It's a year. It doesn't have a face.
Well, you could imagine it has a face. You could draw a face to represent 2020. Put it on one of those big punching bags. I don't know if they have an actual name, and then just go to town on it. You could get a baseball bat, smack it in the face. You could draw some. You could like draw it a crotch, hit it there if you want. I don't know.
Nah, that's too much effort for just a year.
Maybe.
I just take it as it goes. So
hopefully next year will be better.
I can only hope.
Hopefully we'll make it through the rain and see the light at the end.
Okay.
Hopefully that light is not a giant meteor crashing into the... Oh, God, I've jinxed it now.
Usually it's just, the train and then the tunnel, but,
Yeah, I was trying to reference Barry Manilow, so...
But yeah, no, what have I done? I know, I was a lot of space trucking.
What is that? Elite Dangerous.
Yes. It was like a few weeks ago, free on Epic, and I was like, sure, why not? I'm having a lot of fun. What I have to say, some of the guides are pretty bad. Like, I did a run relatively close to before we recorded, and I was like, maybe that guide isn't very up to date. You tell me this is like going to give me like 3 million as a profit, and it turns out it's like it makes some. I lost like 3 million on it, and I was like, God damn it, get these things up to date. Come on, it's not that hard. But yeah.
Was there like some weird inflation in the game or something?
I mean, yeah. I can only assume that the data that it was using was like 2 or 3 days old. That sometimes happens. These these external search engines are sadly not always up to date because, hey, there's so many stations in the game. It's not easy to keep track with them all. And some of my more profitable routes have been evaporating in the meantime.
That sounds hard. I haven't played it. I'm not really. Never tried one of those trucking games.
I mean, it's nice if you want to do something and want to listen to something or watch something, and just want to have something to do. I'm like relatively close in finishing an audiobook that I listen to next mostly, but yeah, it's like busy YouTube, like a lot of people releasing stuff, and I want to keep up to date. So I'm sitting here and watching that. In the meantime, I mean, getting stuff done. It's just, oh, could you just stop releasing stuff for like one day? Give me a break.
Just too much to catch up with on YouTube.
Yeah, but it's not going to get slower, I guess.
Yeah, especially since like people, I think they tend to make more videos in December, or at least they get more money in December.
Yeah, because it crashes in January. Like the ad revenue just completely tanks in January for some reason.
Well, good thing I don't have to worry about that. Doesn't change the fact that YouTube put ads in my videos, even though I can't make any money off them.
I
So
mean,
that's
that's how
nice of them.
it goes. That's how it goes. Just move on. I mean, I don't blame anybody for using an ad blocker. I use one myself because, hey, YouTube isn't paying me, and it's probably not paying you, so why care?
Yeah, fair enough.
On top of that, if I want to support somebody, just giving a few bucks on Patreon is probably a better solution.
Yeah, it's this weird position that YouTube is in, where it's like they keep putting ads on things because they themselves need money, and it doesn't benefit the people that actually make their content very much. But they put money on the ones anyway that can't make money from the content because they think they'll still make money. And then people have just found easier ways of making money through directly supporting a creator they like instead of having to go through all the rigmarole of watching a bunch of videos because they get paid so very little for actually you watching ads. It's so weird.
I know that. I had been monetized for a bit, and I had a pretty big video. Like honestly, it's really big. It still has like 125K views. That was pretty
Jeez.
big. And here's a funny thing. I made like nothing off it, like maybe $5, and I never
What?
saw that money because it only pays up at like 100. So, and
How
I
the
had
heck are
this.
people supposed to make money on this site again?
Like, I don't understand that either. So it's not like, so if I don't have like if I don't pump out constant content at that level, I'm not going to see any kind of money. Like, I understand why some people need to pump these things out as fast as possible, as often as possible, because it's just not getting anything. So I don't know. I got a donation in the December when I released this video that just completely outpaced everything. It was just $10. So I'm like, yeah, this is not a very sustainable lifestyle choice, so I don't do that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have gotten a lot of cool donations on Twitch by people for other things. So like, I made a shit ton. I honestly make really big money off Twitch this year. It's just that I don't want that money. I want to use it for something else. Like, there's still this art tablet that I want to get for my girlfriend. She really wants to get back into art, and that's a good option to do.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
I'm like halfway through. That's pretty cool, you know?
Yay for you.
Yeah. I hope I can get you to make commissions for other people.
Well, I mean, I'm trying. I'm trying to get there. I just have a lot to learn about the basics of how to draw anything. So
I mean, you don't want to draw mecha style things, so it's not that complicated. You don't have
I
to.
just know because, like, if I say I would draw mecha, they give me like unicorn banshee or something, and it's just like, how am I supposed to do that? It's like a robot inside a robot inside a robot.
I mean, that's still better than the Dread Knight. Oh God, the Dread Knight. If
The
you want to
Dread
see,
Knight? Is that a
if you
Gundam?
want, no, if you want to see that, Google Grey Knight's Dread Knight.
All right.
Do
Gray
that.
Knights. Dread Knight. That's not as bad.
It's no. You have to understand. That's a guy in a power armor, wearing a power armor.
Oh, I see.
I was
Yo,
like,
dog, we heard you like power armor, so we put a power armor in your power armor so you can power armor while you power armor.
there's an edit of that where they have like turned it into like a mega sword with like 5 of these things, so they can make more fun of it.
Ah,
It's
jeez.
bad. It's
Mechas are
bad.
hard to draw. I understand why a lot of artists I follow on Twitter, whenever they put commission sheets out, it's like, I will not draw a mecha because the people who draw mecha, they like, I swear, they just doodle on a sheet of paper until someone tells them to stop, and by the time they're done, it's just like, how are we supposed to animate this?
See, that's the reason why I like boxy mecha designs. That's way easier.
Yeah, because like not all mecha are ridiculously complicated. The Zaku, I remember, they're a staple of Gundam, and they're not too complicated. But then you get to
No,
the actual Gundams, and it's just like, are you guys okay? Like,
sometimes they
how
are.
long were you working on this just to make it look like a giant pile of? It looks like he fell into a bin of colorful metal
Sometimes
with a
it's just
magnet.
honestly, I think like sometimes you have some really cool mecha design. I like the mecha design of Expelled from Paradise. Have you ever seen that?
I've heard of it. I'm gonna have to look it up.
It's a pretty good movie actually, but it has some really cool mech design where the mech is basically like ball shaped in its standby position and just assumes humanoid shape. It's pretty
All the
cool.
images I'm looking up are just some girl in a very tight leotard.
That's anime for you, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder if I can just find the robot.
I hope so.
Oh, there's the robot. Oh, that's neat.
It's a
It
pretty
reminds
cool
me
design.
of these, not really Lego toys, but like not Matchboxy. Reminds me of these weird plastic toys I had as a kid, where I like put them together and they turned into a ball, but then they could like fold out their parts and turn into like rudimentary vehicles. Like one could walk like a spider, one was supposed to be like a plane, and they like had these little sockets where you put these little plastic balls and you would like flick them out to like have them shoot energy or something. They were neat.
I would have compared them more to Bakugan, but okay.
Yeah, you should see the Bakugan now. I don't know what happened to them,
Oh, I've
but
seen
I
them.
just don't. At least it's not as bad as Beyblades, because like holy freaking crap, they are a visual monstrosity now.
Honestly, it's just spinning tops. It's not that complicated. Why do
Yeah,
you
but
make this so
did you know
complicated?
they're actually based on a really old Japanese toy called
I know.
Begoma?
Yeah, I know.
They're
But
neat.
you know, the idea is cool. I actually like more of Beyblade. I like the absurd seriousness that the anime puts into it. It's just spinning tops, man. It's
And Moses used one to part the Red Sea.
it's like
Was that Moses? I
I
think it
think
was.
it could have been. Honestly, the
I
series
don't
is crazy
remember.
enough to do that. I'm like, yeah, that could have been. That could have been.
Sure, why not? Just cause they could. Kids anime is always, whenever they have like a card game or a toy tie-in, they're always like, okay, how can we make this seem just the most incredible thing ever? And in Yu-Gi-Oh, like the original series, I think it worked because it wasn't the cards themselves. The cards were like modern adaptations of old Egyptian magic, and the cards themselves couldn't do anything. But then you had people who could use ancient Egyptian magic, and then it turned into shadow games, and that was pretty cool. And then you go to Zexal, and it's like the universe was created from cards because screw you. That's what we're going with.
I'm not feeling the flow. Do you feel the flow?
I hate Zexel.
We all do. It's so bad.
And the shame is, like, I like Utopia. Like, Utopia got new support. It's getting new support in a Lightning Overdrive, I think that's called. We're also getting a new archetype of, like, theme park stuff.
Theme
That's
park
cool.
stuff, okay.
And it's like, I like Utopia. I like the deck. I like the monster. I think he looks cool. I just hate how he's the main. I just hate how that freaking beetle-haired moron brought him out to turn every duel just because he could and did nothing about it. It just annoys me to no end.
Yeah, one day I hope he face fives the ground. Oh wait, he does that in the series, like every time.
Yeah, that's
He's like
and then he turns into a
incredibly
Super
clumsy.
Saiyan because he's
fun.
fused with a Mayan-looking ghost alien from another dimension who has amnesia.
Also, the fact that Zeal was always like naked and floating around was oddly disturbing.
You mean Astral?
Astral, yeah, sorry, it's like that's oddly disturbing. I mean,
I like to think of him like he doesn't have anything. It's just a thing. He's not really.
I mean,
Yeah, no, that's
because
creepy. That's creepy.
just because he doesn't have anything doesn't make it less creepy, you know? It's
It would
like,
have been cool if he had clothes, like ghost clothes.
yeah, it's not that hard. Give him clothes. Come
But
on.
we're not talking about Zexel. Cause if we were, I would just keep going. We're talking about space trucking. How the heck did we get to Zexel again?
I don't know.
Anyway,
But
so
yeah,
space trucking.
It
You got
works.
space cowboy music going on with your space trucker hat.
No,
and
I don't
space
have a trucker
picks.
hat. No, I have an aversion against trucker hats. It's like
Now,
it's awkward.
you're not being a real trucker.
Honestly, trucker hats are not so common in Europe on truckers. They don't
I
like
guess
to
that's
wear.
just a thing we have here.
Yeah, that's mostly something that you have. It's not something we have. Like our truckers are just they don't wear most hats. They customize their rigs pretty much. Like you have name signs and they use lighting and stuff
I'm
like
pretty
that.
sure we have a show that's like Pimp My Ride, but for trucks.
Sure, probably. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure we do.
But yeah.
Yep, Pimp My Truck.
Sure.
It had 5 seasons.
Of course it had.
This place is terrible.
I didn't know. We made fun of that. I remember that one of the comedy shows back in the day when Pimp My Ride was all the rage. They had a segment called Pimp My Wife.
Oh.
Yeah, it was as bad as you think it was.
Oh, that sounds.
It was awful. It was awful. And honestly, sometimes the awfulness is the point. I mean,
Jersey Shore lasted for like how many seasons?
I think it's still going on. I don't know.
I that is one thing I do not want to look up.
It's like that's like a time dilated circle. It never stops. I just don't want to think about that.
Let's keep talking about space trucking.
Yeah, but
So what exactly do you do in Elite Dangerous? You just like go from one place to another. Is it like those like Euro truck simulators, but in space?
No, not really. I mean, you can technically do whatever you want. Like the 3 big things that you can do are combat, and 4: combat, trading, mining, and exploration. That are the 4 things that you do. And combat is just you can do like 2 things. You can take jobs from people in stations that want to see like, okay, you have to get this guy off our ground, or kill enough from that group till we're satisfied. I don't know. They call these massacre missions. Very tasteful. Very tasteful. Then you can of course trade, just buy goods and hauling them from station A to station B. That's what I'm doing because that needs like 0 brain space.
Space trucking.
Yeah.
Space
then
Commander Yahtzee, hero of shopping.
technically. Then you have, of course, the mining operation that you can do like with either with mining lasers or just put specific drones on to haul a lot. That's very profitable, but you're a sitting duck while doing it. And the few times I tried it, I got shot out of a space and lost like 3 millions. And I was like, nope, not doing that again for a while.
Okay.
And then there's the exploration part where you're just basically going system to system and just collect data. Like you jump into a system, you scan all the planets, you maybe map them out with a surface drone, and then you move on. And when you have enough data, you have flown far enough, you sell them to the cartography department, and then you get paid. And that's how it goes. So you can go everywhere. And consider this. The galaxy of Elite Dangerous is modeled after the Milky Way galaxy, which means that we're going to never really run out of game time. Like, there is always something new. It's also slightly dynamic. So, like, for example, I was hauling food for a long time between two stations where one of the stations like experienced a famine. And I did that long enough that the famine just suddenly stopped. I'm like, okay, I get it.
You solved their world hunger.
Not really. I mean, I got a lot of money out of that. I did not solve their world hunger. I assume that a lot of
everyone died.
I assume that happened, and they just got a new bunch that's not that hungry, I guess. I also donated a lot of that stuff. Like, you have options to donate to these factions if you have something like, if they say like, oh, we want food cartridges. Like, okay, here, have some food cartridges. I don't mind, as long as I still do a profit. I give them what I wanted. That was very nice of me. But I can't do that anymore because the station I was doing that with doesn't have landing pads for large ships anymore. So,
Huh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
No, they didn't not have that. I just upgraded from a medium to a large ship, and they don't have the landing pads. So
that's what you get for supersizing.
Yeah, but I can haul a lot more cargo. Now I try to actually get a lot of influence over the Empire, the Roman Empire in space that seemingly has slaves. And is actually pretty bad. But I want to get on their good side because they have the largest hauler in the whole game, and I want that hauler. And then I just switching sides to another faction, just saying like, no, I just using your hauler.
Like, okay, thanks, bye.
Thanks, bye. I'm not going here. I don't want to haul your slaves. You can actually do that. You can actually
just stick to hauling fruit. You can take advantage of the empire that utilizes slave labor, but as long as you're not actually working for them and you're just using them to get a bigger truck, then I'd say you're still in a morally superior position.
I don't know. Fruit hauling has its own complications. Have you ever looked into the what's the name? Let's not dwell on that. Like, there's a fruit company, the American Fruit Company, I think, that was really, really bad. Like,
Dole?
Oh boy, were they?
Was it Dole?
No. I think they called the American Fruit Company. I think they called themselves.
Wow, that's a very unimaginative name.
Yeah, they're really bad. They supported a lot of pretty bad dictatorships over the years. Yeah,
that's like such a weird thing to pick.
I mean, they called it banana republics for a reason.
I see what you did there.
I did not do that. That's not my doing.
Wait, is that an actual thing?
Yeah, that's actually a thing.
The Banana Republic is like dictatorship sponsored by fruit companies? Is that what that means?
Not always, but there is a specific one that is done like
is the Banana Republic like clothing brand or store chain, whatever they are they sponsored by dictatorship?
I don't think so. That's just a brand. No, but I remember that I think the brand of Chiquita is related to one of these dictatorships, and it's very disturbing.
The shady world of big fruit.
Big fruit. But yeah, so that's disturbing. So yeah, even food hauling has its negative sides. That's why I, went to minerals, but I just don't want to think about blood diamonds.
Blood apples.
It's just
blood bananas. Blood
trade is a very dirty business.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I'm having fun for a game that is free. I have sunk a lot of hours into. It was free.
Oh, because you got it on like a special.
Yeah, Epic Games had this for free a few weeks ago, and it was like, yep. And just pick that. I pick a lot of the free games that they have, like right now, which is kind of useless for the people when they listen to that. They have like Pillars of Eternity and Tyranny available to them. Both 2 games that I definitely like. Both for free, which is useless for the viewers because they're usually getting this like a week later, so it's probably gone. Sad. But yeah, that's one thing that I have sunk a lot of money, not money, time, and no money was sunk into this.
Except the money you spent on your trucks.
Yeah, but that's virtual currency. That's not really the case.
I was about to say that, but okay.
Hey. I mean, what is money, man? It's just made
paper.
up.
Or, tiny round pieces of metal.
It's just made up, man. We don't need money.
You just need to share, man.
We need love, man.
We'd all just live in peace and harmony, man.
Anyway,
wait, let me try let me try putting on Tommy Chong's voice. How did it? I can't remember how to do that voice. I used to be able to do Tommy Chong's voice, but I can't do that anymore because I forgot how to do that.
Well, it sometimes happens.
Yeah. It happens, man. You remember Tommy Chong?
I don't have an image. I don't remember.
The Cheech and Chong movies? He was Leo on
I never watched
show.
These. I never watched these. I don't know. I don't actually know these.
All right.
I watched the Harold and Kumar movies. That was a waste of time.
I heard they were funny.
The first one is okay. The second one is just what the hell? I don't know. But yeah.
I wish you luck in your continuing adventures as a space trucker.
No, I have nothing more to tell. I'm just sitting here losing my tan because I'm sitting indoors. The trucker tan is usually on the arm. I'm just getting trucker pale. Space trucker pale. So yeah. But yeah, I think that's the most important thing that happened lately. I don't know.
Neat.
And you? What have you been up to?
I forgot.
That's bad.
I have a terrible memory. Like, you should know that by now. Whenever you ask me, I have to actually look around and think, what the heck have I been doing lately? I completely forgot. I'm actually looking around and I'm just like, I don't know what I've been doing lately because I've just been trying to do all that stupid college crap and just getting that out of the way.
I mean, you did do a lot of card stuff, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I already said, hey, I started a new channel at the beginning of the thing, so not really much point in bringing that up. What have I been playing? Ah, crap! I hate when this happens.
Look on the bright side. It will make the segment far shorter than usual.
Yeah, true. I mean, I guess just the thing that I've been doing most recently is that I downloaded Valorant, however you want to say that free team first-person shooter game from Riot, which is a terrible company, but
yeah, I don't know why you downloaded this one, but okay.
I don't know. One of my friends plays it, and I don't have anything else that I can play with. It was free. I figured, I might as well check it out. And at first, I thought it would be like more like Overwatch, but it turns out it's just CS:GO by way of
Oh,
Overwatch.
great! That's exciting.
Yeah. I only play like 2 characters so far. I played like Jet because she's fast and stuff, and I thought she was cool. But I also played as Viper. She uses like poison. She has like a poison wall and a poison ball and a poison like puddle. It's like
That's
acid
not
or
very
something.
imaginative. Like,
I mean, she also makes like this really big cloud of poison that can stay as long as you're still in it.
okay.
So that's kind of neat. You just like keep blocking everyone's sight and making cover and stuff like that. Like her thing is just being able to like cover up for other people, block some sights, make cover, deal some damage every now and then. So it's not so bad. I'm terrible at the game though, because I don't play them very often. So that's kind of a problem. I did figure out that I'm still terrible at these games. And like apparently everyone else is just like completely hopped up on coffee because they're able to see me for like half a second from halfway across the map and instantly headshot me. Meanwhile, I can shoot someone like 14,000 bajillion times and they'll still kill me in one shot. Like one time, I was the last person on my team, and there was one person left. I got like 2 other people before then. I put up her ultimate, so I was just hiding in it and taking pot shots. And I swear, I hit her like 40 times, and she didn't die. But then she shot me like 2 times, and we lost the round. And I'm just like, oh, so yeah, it's probably just me being terrible at the game because, like, back when I played Overwatch, the only character I played as really was Zenyatta, and I was good as Zenyatta. I could get pretty decent kill streaks, and I could stay alive throughout the whole round and still engage in some skirmishes. Because hey, turns out having accurate long range ball flinging, that's a pretty effective weapon. And all I did was like I would sit back and heal everyone. Because no one ever wanted to be the healer. No one ever wanted to do that. Except me. That's a weird thing. Like, if I have the option, I'll be the healer because I know no one else wants to. And I actually got pretty good at it. I uninstalled Overwatch, though. I haven't played it in, like, at least a year because Blizzard's terrible.
Meh.
But I just wanted to try playing Valorant because one of my friends plays it, and I wanted to play something with him, so that was pretty much it. Oh yeah, I have been watching one anime series just like because I need to make use of my Crunchyroll subscription, and now that I'm on break, I can actually watch more when I'm not trying to make videos, which is I have a terrible habit of just way too many hobbies and just not, or rather, just too many time-consuming hobbies and not enough time to spend on all of them. But I've been watching Yowamushi Pedal. That's the one that I've been spending a lot of time with since we last talked.
Mm-hmm.
You ever hear of it?
I don't think so.
It is an anime about bicycle racing.
Okay.
That's it. That's all it is. It's a sports anime about a nerdy kid who can pedal really well. So he's recruited into his high school's cycling team, and then they cycle.
You know, anime and cycling only brings Golden Boy to mind.
Yeah, or Pokemon, depending on.
No, that
how
has
you
no
see it.
cycling on it. That has only the destruction of cycling in it.
It still has bicycles. Hold on, I need to let my dog in.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
Cool.
But in the show, the main character is an otaku named Onada Sakamichi, and he has no friends. He just doesn't have any friends. But ever since he was like thinking 5th grade or something like that, he would ride this like rundown. They call it a mommy bike, where it's just like a chore bicycle. It's kind of heavy. It doesn't go very fast. It's kind of a pain to actually ride. But like twice a week, or like at least once a week, he would pedal. I think like 50 kilometers. 50. He would pedal to Akihabara in like 2 hours. I don't remember how long it would take. And because he was doing that for so has really good stamina, and his cadence, which is just how fast he can pedal in a, like rhythmically, is really good. So he becomes a climber, which is just the people who ride swiftly up the slopes in bicycle races and like pulls the rest of them. Because that's how they work. It's like you have all-rounders, you got climbers, and then you got sprinters who are just supposed to go as fast as they possibly can across flat parts. And that's a cycling team. So he becomes a climber, and he joins the team because he can finally get some friends. That's nice. And from there, it's kind of just a regular sports anime, with the thing being that like the vast majority of the episodes are like one continuous race. Because like they have the inter-high, they have the inter-high race, and canonically it takes place over like 3 days. I think it actually took place over like 36 episodes. At least I think so. I'm pretty sure. Let me check real quick. I think it has like a 4th season coming out really soon. Because right now they have the original and then Grand Road, and then I think they have New Generation or Next Generation or something like that. And I think that has 2 seasons in it. So, let's see. Where does the race start? It starts at episode 22 of season 1. So, it starts. So it has then there's 38 episodes in the first season, so it's 17 episodes in the first season, and then all 24 episodes of the second season is the rest of the race. So they spend 41 episodes on this race.
Do you think they will reach the Tour de France?
No, that's not a thing they do.
Oh,
I'm not even sure they could. Because
why not?
I don't know. Just because I don't think their school would fly them out to France to partake in that.
I don't think that needs to be part of the school, but like lots of sports people have, ambition. Maybe we have eventually like either a time skip or we
yeah, but they have other stuff to do outside of just the bicycle racing. So the Tour de France isn't really a thing. It's just they're just doing the races in the high school teams. So that's it. But yeah, they spent 41 episodes on one single freaking race. It was. I'm gonna be honest. I like this show. The team make up that the characters that make up the team, they're interesting for the most part. Their rival team, which is Hakone Gakuen. Their team I like less just because they have so many characters on it that I'm just like, oh my gosh, will you shut up? There's this one guy who's their sprinter. All he does is his whole thing is that he has really good abs. And that's it. Like he is a muscle head to the most ridiculous degree where his little like the character trait he has where he just like exclaims something, he just says abs. And when he's actually like pedaling, when he was sprinting, when they did that I can't remember if it was the first day of the race. It was probably the first day of the race. Where he was racing 2 of the members on the main character's team. He was just going like abs, 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 abs. That was actually what he was saying.
Okay.
And you're just like, dude, shut up. I don't care. And no, I don't care that you named your pecs Andy and Frank. You're creeping me out. Just shut up. I hate you. He was terrible. He was so annoying. And then, like, he has this, it's kind of like a spider sense, but his pectorals. And it's just like, I don't care about this guy. He's so annoying. So I really hated him. And the annoying thing is, like, he's in a decent number of episodes because, you know, he's on the rival team. He was, like, my least favorite out of them. And then they had one guy who just kept eating. Like, the entire time, he's always eating. And I'm just like, why are you eating? Where are you getting all this stuff? Why are you, every time you see him, he's eating, which was at least kind of funny. Is like, okay, that's kind of chuckle worthy, I guess. And then they have the self-absorbed ladies man, who isn't actually that popular with the ladies as he likes to think. But the rival team I didn't really enjoy very much. Like, a couple other characters are fine. The main characters team was actually pretty cool. They got Onoda, and then they have the third years, because, you know, in a sports anime, you have to have third years that are going to be graduating soon. The senpai. I think the movie is actually, they do have a movie. It, like, follows right after the inter-high race. One of them graduates, and he's not in the team anymore. So that was kind of neat. I haven't finished the movie yet. I have it on my watch list. But that's neat. The main climber is like Makishima. He has really long green hair, and I'm gonna say this now. I like him as a character for the most part. He's kind of this, like, laid back, kind of sadistic dude, but not like super sadistic. I don't know, but he has this weird thing called the spider climb, where, you know what dancing is, right? Like, when you pedal a bike and you tilt it from side to side, that's called dancing. So they can, like, build up a better pace. He does that, but he, like, tilts it very extreme, like, to where it's a much lower angle to the ground, if that makes any sense. And he just kind of keeps going back and forth with it because he has very long limbs, so he's able to do that. But it just looks really creepy because, since it's a show, a lot of the bicycle racing parts are actually CG.
Mm-hmm.
That would look. It looks very uncanny, especially when his, like, super long green hair is also, you know, flowing in the wind, because it just looks very uncanny and weird. So while I like him as a character, that part just looks creepy. And then the rest of the team is neat. I like how Onoda himself doesn't feel like a main character. He feels like the guy who's also there. And then his two best friends, Naru and what was that one guy's name? Ima Izumi. That's it. I think it's Naruko and Ima Izumi. They're like the typical shonen anime rival people. You know, Naruko's this super hot-blooded sprinter dude who's just always wanting to be the best. And then Ima Izumi is like that super cold, almost analytical dude who's also very passionate about the sport. And they always just butt heads, despite the fact that they're pretty much the same idiot. They're the same. They're just as stupid as each other. But I like that kind of dynamic because they are very much alike, but they feel more like the main characters rather than Onoda, because Onoda is just this, like, super chill guy. So that's a nice dynamic I like. The main villain I hate, Mitasuji, is freaking creepy. He's like, I don't know, like 6 feet tall. He's like skin and bones. He has super long limbs and, like, super round eyes that kind of look like they just kind of bug out at you. And these ridiculous teeth. Look up a picture of Mitasuji from Yomushi Pedal real quickly.
Okay.
You looking it up?
No, I don't open my browser while doing that. I'm
Oh.
not that kind of guy.
Oh, I thought you would look at the picture. Well, anyway, he's freaking creepy, and he's just always he's kind of bug-like, but also he's like lizard-ish. I don't know. He just feels very unsettling to be around and just see on screen. It's just like, oh, why are you here? I mean, I get why. I don't know. Like, a lot of the characters I'm kind of like on and off about. Like, I like some of them, and then I'm like, go away, please. Just, I don't like you or your stupid quirky character crap. I don't like you at all. And then the fact that the entire race is like 41 episodes, and then they have a movie, and then they have 2 more seasons. I'm gonna watch all of it because I did like it. It's just this weird place where it's like I enjoyed it enough where I wanted to finish it, but I was kind of exhausted by a lot of it. So I'm not entirely sure. I did enjoy it. I do recommend it if you're into sports anime because it is a pretty typical sports anime. You know, you got your noble senpai graduating next year. You got your newbie kid who doesn't know how anything works, so he's supposed to be like the surrogate for the audience, but he has like untapped potential that makes him absolutely perfect. It's really good. Well, it's good if you're into sports anime. There are some really funny parts about it, like how the main character, his favorite anime is like this really stereotypical kind of magical girl thing. And one time during the race, when one of his senpai was not like feeling super well because he like super wore himself out the previous day, they started singing the theme song, and it's like hime 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 zuki zuki daisuki, and it was just a super ridiculously happy song. It was being sung by this giant hulking bull of a dude, and it was just really funny to see. It does have a lot of good parts. I like the character dynamics. So Yowamushi Pedal, I do recommend it. I'm looking forward to the next season, especially if it's going to be on Crunchyroll because that's what I pay for. But just know what you're getting into. It's an anime based on a sport that is notoriously very long to watch. So just know that going ahead. How long have we been talking?
You don't want to know, honestly. The segment has been going on for nearly an hour.
I'm going to cut out a whole bunch of stuff in editing.
That's okay.
All right. So, okay. Sorry for rambling. We're going to talk about Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, God.
So, Cyberpunk. It was hyped up for years. It finally came out, and
it's a mess.
It's a mess.
This is what 8 years of development get you. Genitals flipping through trousers.
It's the Duke Nukem Forever of our time.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, it at least works.
It's not quite on Duke Nukem Forever's level.
Yeah, but
it's close. It could see it through a glass bottom boat.
Well, on the flip side, Duke Nukem Forever did work on. So
yeah,
I mean, it's kind of a weird situation, you know. Like,
I'm gonna quote Ben Yahtzee Croshaw real quickly because he had this one really funny analogy in his Duke Nukem Forever video. Or it's like, I don't remember exactly what he said word for word, but he said something along the lines of, imagine you spent like 20 years. Imagine you spent 20 years building an 8-foot jizz cannon in your backyard, and then you're finally finished, and you invite everyone over to see its first discharge, and then it sputters and just kind of tilts over and dribbles out yellowy gunk on everyone's shoes, and that's what it feels like. Except it feels more like nothing happened at all. I didn't even get to the sputtering part. I don't know. I feel like that's more appropriate because apparently this game is just absolutely obsessed with sex.
I don't.
Which feels super juvenile because, like, is there any point in the game of doing that, or is it just there for its own sake?
I don't know. The sex was not really what bothered me. I mean, for me, it's just the question of who did ask for GTA with a Cyberpunk skin? Like, is that really what this is supposed to be? Like, wow. I mean, I know total conversion mods of GTA 4 that do similar things if you're into that.
Wait a second. Don't we already have Saints Row?
Oh yeah, we have Saints Row. Yeah, forgotten. Saints Row has also a cyberpunk thing going on. It's like,
Yeah, it did it better. And it was
like,
funny.
I mean, sure. It's like, I don't know what they wanted with this. I cannot understand this. It was all very, very sus in the lead up, like a lot. Like there were so many red flags over the years where I was like,
People couldn't use their own gameplay videos. I remember that being a thing. Like you couldn't use footage that you personally recorded of the game in your review. I remember one
yeah,
YouTuber that I follow on Twitter. Not in real life. I don't follow them in real life. Like I'm not
that would be really
recording
awkward, honestly.
whatever. He got his video taken down because they did say something about how you couldn't post it before the 10th, and then they announced that you can't use your own recorded footage. You can only use footage that we pre-recorded for you. And I was just like, that seems incredibly wrong. Like, how is anyone supposed to actually express their thoughts on the game if they can't express their own experience visually?
It's not about that. It's just specifically designed to cull the people who would criticize it for all of the bugs, for all of the messes that it has made. It's just supposed to be a PR thing so that people don't lose the hype. People buy this thing in droves. And they did, apparently. It's already a pretty, good selling game. It's just that I didn't buy it, and I'm not sure if I ever will buy it.
I didn't buy it either.
I will probably get a copy eventually. Probably not a legal one.
Hey, I mean, that would be in the spirit of Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it would be. But that's kind of...
A friend of mine actually returned their copy because it kept crashing on them. And then he bought The Way of the House Husband Volume something and Saint Young Men Volume 3 along with DMC5, which are much better ways to spend that money.
Yeah, probably.
I'm looking this up right now. The Metacritic score of Cyberpunk 2077.
It's probably pretty high.
90.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say this. Screw that.
Like, that doesn't sound right.
That.
I mean, what
with a giant corkscrew.
Like, what game were they playing? This game is just not working.
It's like Skyrim all over again. Skyrim is a broken, buggy pile of just absolute nonsense and madness that people defend because they like Bethesda and they think, oh, that's charming. Oh, that's cute. I remember seeing like reviews of ports for Skyrim acknowledging that there are a lot of bugs and that it is kind of a broken, ramshackled pile of just garbage. And then they were like, 10 out of 10. It's perfect. Just absolutely flawless. And I feel like it's the same thing here where they earned a lot of goodwill from stuff like The Witcher, which is probably mostly coming from the third game. I played the third game. I didn't really like it. But
honestly, you misinterpret this. Like here's something that you have to understand about games journalism. Games journalism has nothing to do with the actual games and the content in it. It has something to do with the PR machine. Games journalism is just a PR machine for the publishers in many cases. And it's a system where you don't bite the hand that feeds you, because if you say something that the publishers don't like, you get blacklisted and don't get review copies anymore. And then you have to buy these games on their own, And that's kind of a problem. So from that perspective, you have this kind of issue where a lot of people will make these kind of claims because they don't want to be locked out, because that can be a big problem. So you will have to wait for the people who analyze the game a little bit deeper. But at this point, I'm not even sure if you can do this because it's just too buggy. Like usually you would have to wait for a game like that for at least 6 months to see that they have quelled most of the bugs before you can even approach it in any sense. And I'm pretty sure they have a lot of post-launch content, like with The Witcher 3, they had a lot of DLC coming out. They probably have planned this out ahead. So you can imagine that they probably will, for the next 2 or 3 years, try to make this game what it's supposed to be. So at this point, I'm not even sure if you should buy it 6 months down the line, because it will still be different. And even then, I don't really feel like this is a decent Cyberpunk game in the first place. Like, it's very removed from all of it. Yes, it has the aesthetics, but beyond the aesthetics, I haven't seen anything. The plot is seemingly just an endless gang war constantly posing out, and that's like not really cyberpunk. I mean, it's part of it, but not the most focused. Like a
Isn't
large part.
Cyberpunk about like rebelling against the system?
I mean, not necessarily. Cyberpunk is mostly about how corporations are very powerful, how they take over precedent over states, and that in that pursuit of profit, they hire people to do terrible things. Like
Dystopian sci-fi.
yeah,
Basically.
it's this dystopian sci-fi. It is. And the problem is, like, yes, you will have gang wars, but these gang wars are usually incited by the corporations by enforcing massive people. The gangs usually are a protection system for the poor people to join them so that they can make any kind of money to have a survivable environment, because corporations can just say, no, we're not hiring you, or we're hiring you so much that you are fully dependent on us, that you have to buy in the company store, that we basically own you. You are a wage slave at that point. That's something that is very integral to the cyberpunk story. And none of that seems to be happening right about now. And I'm like, you spent 8 years on developing this and wanted to make the greatest cyberpunk game of all time, and you
don't
missed
even
the
get
point.
the basic thing about Cyberpunk.
I don't think they don't know these pieces. They have openly spoken out against some of these elements. Like, we have that, then they antagonize the trans community because transhumanism is part of the cyberpunk ethos. And a lot of trans people take a lot of the aesthetic and elements and ideology from that specific point because, of course, it's related. There is a specific connection, a cultural connection, and they antagonize trans people all the way through. And I don't know, the genital customization system feels weirdly voyeuristic.
I still don't get the point of that. It feels like
it feels like
when Rockstar had someone like had that headline about how the horse's balls would shrink in cold weather. Like, what is the point of that?
Yeah, it's
to have a funny headline like, oh, you can give yourself a giant wang. And just like, great. What does that do for me in the game?
It
Is
feels
someone
like
just going to comment on my giant wang? Is that the entire point of it?
It's really just feels like a very misguided punchline to a very misguided joke that we are just all not cued in. On top of that, it just feels like a very cruel punchline to something that is not intended to be like all that great. It feels so juvenile. That's
what I was about to say. It feels like a game that was made by with the mentality of an edgy 14-year-old from like 2006 or something.
And it's so odd, but we haven't even seen the most important part is that we haven't even seen how far it goes. Like I'm not going to play it, but I get to look at a lot of that, and I get a lot of that from the second hand. Like, I'm in a Discord with a lot of people criticizing the game, and one of them plays them and is very distraught and completely shocked. Like, you would expect in a game like this, for example, that the police would eventually become a problem. Like, you're making a gang war. It's very likely that the police will show up. But here's the thing. You can't shoot at the police. You can literally not shoot at the police in the game. The game treats them like allies, and when you aim at them, the gun will go down. You will not be able to shoot them.
Can they shoot you?
Yes.
How the heck is that supposed to work?
Well, I'm not even sure if you actually combat them, because the AI for the game is weird. Like, they found out that there is no driving AI, like, at all. The police can't follow you, technically speaking. It's like, it's a mess. And we haven't even seen where this game is going. Like, we have only seen, like, the first few hours, because as of this point, it's, like, only out for, like, 3 days. So a lot of people will not even gotten through most of the content at this point. So they
had to keep that quiet because they kept saying stuff like, you can't use the gameplay footage in this thing. It's like they're barring anyone from talking about it because they don't want anyone to know not exactly what's in the game and like spoil it for other people, but it's like they don't want people to know how badly they screwed up. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, but the worst part
And
about this is,
also, I'm just gonna say this right now.
Yep.
I hate what they did to Keanu Reeves.
Really?
They made him portray just an absolute terrible character. Keanu Reeves. That is unforgivable.
I don't know. Keanu has played a lot of characters over the years.
Yeah, but like most of the time he's a good guy.
I mean, yeah, but
And also they brought him out to like promote the game and he's like, "You're breathtaking." And that was cool. He's a nice dude. He's a really wholesome guy. And to have him be portray and to have him portray just this sleazy jerk of a character with like, from what I've heard, like absolutely no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Just makes me be like, why did you get Keanu Reeves? Why? Why would you do this? He's such a nice person.
I mean, you have to understand that before they hired him, they had to send him a pitch. So he has to know what the role is. So he agreed to that. So he knew what kind of role he was going to play. So
maybe I'm just salty because I don't know. I'm kind of feels like they kind of wasted him in a way, but that's just me. But no, the actual thing, the worst part about it, the thing that's worse than wasting Keanu Reeves is just that they worked their employees so hard. They crunched to an unbelievable degree to get everything done. And I know that is an unfortunate standard practice in the gaming industry that really shouldn't exist. We should like unionize or something like that.
Yeah.
And guess what? Supergiant doesn't do it. They like mandate vacation days. Like you got to take at least 20 days off a year, which good for them. Pretty much everything they've made is like just out of the park. They won Best Indie Game with Hades. And they've made stuff like Bastion and Transistor and Pyre, which I still need to play.
Honestly,
I don't know why I want to play Pyre.
Honestly, I think like Hades should be Game of the Year. Honestly, like
I mean, I think 13 Sentinels should be, but I don't know what the development of that game was like. I feel like it wasn't as bad as Cyberpunk or The Last of Us.
No, but it had. You have to understand that Hades, for example, is a game like they had an early access for over a year, so they had a lot of time. They could do this and also collect funds while doing it. Like that's kind of how they did it. So it's not that they were under massive pressure. The early access did actually put a lot of pressure away from them. But for Cyberpunk, the worst part about this is that it is not over. As I said, the post-launch content is coming, and they probably
they can't even take a break.
No, they can't take a break. They're already in the working part because now, as of now, they have to fix the game. There are too many bugs. There's too much terrible things. They're already in a massive crunch period right about now, very shortly before Christmas. In these kind of times, it's like...
And yet people are probably still going to defend them.
There have been a lot of people trying to defend it, even though I think this is
I'm going to title this video as Cyberpunk 2077 and the misuse of goodwill, because due to the things that CDPR has made, The Witcher 3 and probably something else I don't know about.
No, that's basically the only thing they have done as of now, like the Witcher series, and that's basically it. Like,
so like The Witcher series. Thanks to The Witcher series and The Witcher 3 actually, again, being something that took a lot of crunch and pain and turmoil to actually make and put out there, people like it. So it's like Skyrim. People are just going to forgive Bethesda for everything they do until they push it too far in the event of like Fallout 76. And they're just going to be like, okay, no, Bethesda, you've been taking the piss for far too long. We're not going to give you any more free passes. No more get out of jail free cards for you. And then this feels like the same thing. Like they made The Witcher, and now people were so hyped for Cyberpunk because of The Witcher. And then it comes out, and it's just...
Honestly,
what the heck happened? And then people are still going to defend it because, it's CDPR. It's just this wonderful company. Yeah, sure. Oh, they work there. They basically torture their employees to actually make a game that didn't deliver on anything that it said it was going to, and feels like some overly indulgent 14-year-old rapidly doodled fever dream. Okay, fine. Sure, that's fine. As long as we get to play the game, that's totally fine. It's totally justifiable. And I feel like that's kind of a thing that we need to stop in general. And also, we
Yeah,
need to stop it with Nintendo. I try not to bring up Nintendo every single time, but stop giving Nintendo a free pass. They don't deserve a
yeah,
free pass.
yeah.
After everything they pulled, especially recently with, the the DMCA takedowns of like 3 games worth of music soundtracks,
Hmm.
they don't deserve a free pass. Bethesda doesn't deserve a free pass. CDPR doesn't deserve a free pass. And I hope Cyberpunk will be CDPR's Fallout 76. It's going to be the thing that makes the scales fall from people's eyes and see the company for what it is, as a slave driving pit of terrible mishmash.
I mean, we already see the fallout besides that. Like I've seen this. There are a lot of people out there who invested so heavily in the game and they're now playing this and are completely broken. Like not the game, the people. They have like their identity tied so much to this before they even played it. And they're now having mental breakdowns. I saw some posts on Reddit about this, like where some people have like massive disillusionment and don't even know what to do anymore. There were some people who heavily did research on the cyberpunk genre as a preparation for that, and they're having like this complete disillusionment of what's going on right about now with that game, and like, what is this? This is not what I did. Like, the best part about this specific kind of incident was the fact that they got to experience a lot of great things, like great media, like great movies, great series, great games, great books.
Well,
And
bright
now
side
they
of
have
that,
to deal with and now they have to deal with this, like
the thing that they were trying so hard to appreciate to the fullest extent is something that they can't even appreciate as a game because
it breaks them.
it's not a
It
good
literally
game.
breaks. I mean, we can learn a very important lesson from that beyond that. Like
Yeah,
maybe it's a
stop
bad.
overhyping things by companies
No,
that
that's
keep torturing their employees.
I mean, we could also, just say like maybe it's not a good idea to tie our identity so much to media products. That's
Nintendo
also
fans.
Nintendo fans are just one side of a coin. There are other people like
I know, but I just like picking on them.
it's okay. It's okay. I don't pick on Nintendo fans that hard. Like as in the past, I had my fill. I'm done with it. I don't know. But it's like it makes very clear that maybe tying your identity to one specific thing and seeing that thing break down again and again is bad. I mean, we see that with Star Wars fans who like
Yeah.
can't stop. We see that with oh my god, the people who like the DC cinematic universe, like the Snyder fans, like oh god, like
For people who were really into Game of Thrones like that,
they had a similar disillusionment when the series broke down, but yeah, kind of. But for me, this isn't really a thing because I watched the first season of Game of Thrones and was like, so that's it? Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. That was not great. Like,
you're
nah.
gonna go watch uh, um, One Piece. Let's just name One Piece.
One Piece. I mean, One Piece hasn't disappointed many
No,
people.
I
as
mean
of
like
now.
you're instead of Game of Thrones, you would go
Oh
watch
yeah,
One.
yeah. Yeah, I would do that. One Piece is still better. Like, sure, latest episodes are a little bit slow. It's stretched at extremely thin at this point. So like watching the anime is probably not advised at this point,
I
but
mean,
I
it's
still
got
can
some
enjoy
really
it.
great animation.
Yeah, that's true. So for that, it's of course there, but it's not that I have to tie myself. I'm not going out there and call myself a straw hat like some other people. But it should it break down, should it fail? I'm prepared for that. Like I'm not saying like, oh yeah, that happens. I was like, yeah, the workload of Oda would eventually like break him. I was prepared for that. Like that's to
I mean,
be
I think he's still
expected.
doing pretty well.
He's still doing pretty well, but I think he's a maniac. I mean, the best kind of maniac, probably.
He's an outlier.
But he's an outlier. He can do that. You can't expect that from anybody, and that's kind of the point. But yeah, we can learn a lot from these experiences if we don't do that. I mean, I always recommended, like I have been saying that since like 2011. We shouldn't buy into the hype so heavily because hyping something up that doesn't even exist yet is usually a good sign. Is usually a good way to setting yourself up for disappointment.
One of my friends, DM'd me on Twitter, and um, they said they remember me saying a while ago that I didn't expect Cyberpunk to launch very well. I was right, and I don't even remember saying that, but they said I said it like 2018, but it's just it just feels like a game that everything would just catch up to.
Yeah.
All the pain and all the suffering and all the terrible management, terrible development process, the terrible just everything surrounding it, it would eventually culminate in something that just didn't go well. Even if everything went well and it was functional.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure that it could still live up to the hype that people expected, because I'm not sure.
Probably not.
If the base product, if it functioned perfectly, I don't know if it would actually be what people wanted. And that's kind of just, again, that's just a problem that we have, like, in the gaming community as a whole, and just media as a whole, overhyping things and tying our identity so closely to these products. And it's just like, what if they fail? What if something happens and just it's not what you imagined? Because, like, next year we're getting The World Ends With You 2, or the Neo The World Ends With You. They should have called it The World Ends With You, TOO. That would have been really funny, but oh well. Now, The World Ends With You is like my favorite game ever. Really, it's in a 3-way tie with Persona 4 Golden and Ape Escape 3. I don't get hyped, but I'm really looking forward to that game because I've been waiting very long for a sequel to that. And I'm going to follow it, and I'm going to see what is going on with it. And when it comes out, if it's good, cool. If it's not what I wanted, I know it's not going to be what I wanted, because, again, it's a sequel to, like, my favorite game ever. It's not going to live up to any unrealistic expectations I have. I'm not going to say, oh, everything I'm about is just The World Ends With You. It's fantastic. My entire existence is about it, because that's kind of just a bad idea in general.
I know what you mean.
I don't know where I was going with that.
No. It's clear. You want to measure. You want to measure your expectations. You want to lower them. You want to be careful. You don't want to fall in a trap. That's totally fine. I do the same thing. Like this year, for example, I was expecting the new Dune movie. I'm a great Dune fan. Now, this thing was moved back to the next year, which is totally fine. I mean, considering this year's going on. But I don't have, like, expectations of this will be the greatest thing ever, because I know Dune at this point outside of the books. It hasn't been very, and the board game. It hasn't been very successful outside of that. Like, the original movie didn't do so well.
Because it wasn't very good.
What?
Because it wasn't very good.
I think it was more confusing than it was not good. It had some really great. I actually like this movie a lot. Like,
I haven't seen it. I don't think I finished it.
I really like it, but I definitely see why it is maybe not anybody's cup of tea, and it could have done better. That's totally fine. But I see, like, that didn't work out. The TV series and specials didn't really work out. So,
are they already planning to make the entire book series into a movie series?
I think they planned, like, 2 movies ahead, but nothing more. Like, they will do one Dune movie, and maybe a second one has been already, like, greenlit to be financed, which is totally okay, because I think the first novel of Dune it's not something you should maybe adapt in just one book. That's a little bit too much. But on top of that, I think also on the flip side, adapting only the first Dune novel is not doing it justice. You kind of need to do the second too, because only in the second.
I haven't read the books. I kind of want to, because they have this display at the bookstore I go to, and they got like all 6 books, and they got these really cool minimalistic covers, and I think they look neat. I should kind of want to read them.
It's a bit dense, but it has its stuff. But yeah, you kind of need the second one to really appreciate where it's going, because it's a series that wants to tell you something very important about leadership and how we put that, and kind of related to this, like to Cyberpunk. The Dune series is mostly set up with the idea that people are people, they're humans, and putting your faith into one leader alone is going to always appointment, is always going to damn you, because you're just setting your expectations for one leader so high, and that is just a
No
human, a
human could
very human
possibly
being.
live up to it.
Not only not live up to it, they will fail at it. They will break apart because they're human. Dune is a series that is very human, about human failings, about human emotion, about what people do. And I think in the lessons like this, similar to Cyberpunk, we see like maybe we shouldn't put all of our expectations in just one thing. It can fail. It can fail heavily. It can break apart.
It can
And I
trip
think
and fall flat on its face so hard it breaks all its teeth.
exactly, and that's kind of a point. I don't think necessarily you can completely adapt that metaphor, but the point is,
I know. I just like hyperbolic analogies like that.
But the point is, we need to be careful with how we consume our media, with how we approach media, with what we allow and what we don't allow. Like, I was already aware of a crunch. I was clear, I'm not going to buy this, at least not in any capacity that benefits the developers, because why would I? They have
Embrace
abused
the
these people.
cyberpunk style. Just pirate it. Who cares?
It's just, I'm just not going to give them money. Even if you buy a used copy, you're not giving the developers any money. Like, you can do that if you want. That's
Yeah, that'd be
that's
fine.
fun.
That's
Like,
the thing. That's the thing I say about if you don't want to support a game company, just buy a used copy if you really
Yep.
want to play it.
It's like, I mean, it's not that you save GameStop with it. They're gonna die.
You could at least go to like local game stores. That's what I
You
do.
can do that. That's totally fine. Like, they get the full profits of used sales usually, so that's sometimes useful if you want to support your local game stores. That's fine. On top of that, that's really good for like things that you're curious about. Like honestly, I want to say this. Like, I'm really interested, honestly, in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I'm not gonna want to give Ubisoft any money on that.
Yeah,
you know?
Ubisoft's a terrible company too.
Yeah, so
AAA business is just full of terrible companies.
So I don't want to give them any kind of money. So I'm probably getting in a few months maybe a used copy, because I know my PC is not gonna run it. So I'm
Yeah.
probably getting a used copy for PS4, and I'm fine with that. And I can recommend that. On top of that, this is like a really good moment to try out a lot of different games that aren't Cyberpunk. Like,
yeah. So
maybe
Cyberpunk's terrible. Good. You have a lot of other games you can try. You could play Transistor if you want. That's by Supergiant. You can play Jet Set Radio. That's kind of Cyberpunk. That's a really good game. I like that game.
You can play the free Shadowrun Return games, like Shadowrun
Yeah, you can do that.
Dragonfall.
What else can you play? I'm just gonna look on my screen right here. Let's see what you can play right now. On Steam, you can play Graveyard Keeper, not necessarily Cyberpunk, but I'm just listing stuff I see. You can play Chroma Squad if you want the tactical option thing. You can play Metal Gear Solid if you want.
Yeah,
don't give money to Konami.
Like Metal Gear Solid is also a pretty Cyberpunk series if you think about it. Like,
yeah, it is. Especially Rising wouldn't be. No.
No. Actually, that's not very far ahead. I think there is a lot in Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance that you could use for Cyberpunk elements. Even though a lot of people are not okay with like the travel that Raiden takes, but honestly, I have an interpretation of Raiden's character in this game that makes a lot of sense. It's just for a lot of people that is a little bit far-fetched or maybe a little bit too extreme. I personally kind of like it.
Maybe we'll talk about it on another episode.
Yeah, we can talk about that another
day.
Like,
that's a good lesson. Like Cyberpunk, it was the thing that people saw. They had good faith in CDPR. Like in their eyes, they were the new Bethesda. They could do no wrong, even though they did wrong. But they're not going to acknowledge they did wrong. So then they got super hyped up for Cyberpunk, and they kept seeing all this stuff. Keanu Reeves is Keanu Reeves. So yeah, and he was going to be involved in the game, and then they just saw more stuff, and they kept getting more hype, and there were memes, of course, obviously, And then
There's
there was
always
hype, and there
memes.
was more hype, and there were things to get people hyped about, and people kept hyping it up and over, and then it came out, and just like, well, so much for that.
I mean, that's what we learned with Duke Nukem Forever already. Betting on Duke is not always a good idea.
That is true. And now that it's just kind of a flailing mess, you have time to try out other games.
Like, I want to be honest.
You could watch Psychopaths if you want.
I mean, if you
Watch
want.
Psychopaths. Just do that in general.
I don't know. I want to be honest. I have some gaming plans that now are probably the best time to actually execute. Like,
who cares if Cyberpunk failed horribly? Like, you're upset by that. I can understand that. I don't think I can really relate to that because I've never really been disappointed by a game, except maybe that one was fine. So just do something else. If Cyberpunk isn't the thing you wanted, then don't give it your time. And don't give it your time. Don't give CDPR your money. Of course, if you don't give them money, then it will just end in a situation where they probably have to fire a lot of their staff to make up for costs.
That's not going to happen. I think one of the things that you forget is that CD Projekt is the owner of Good Old Games. They're making a lot of money.
They are?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, this is also what really concerns me because I think like a project like Good Old Games is a good idea. It's just that I'm not sure if a company like CD Projekt is the right owner for something like that. I'm not even sure if a company should own something like that. I think that kind of preservation effort should be something public, something that we have a say in.
Something like Itch, I guess.
Yeah, something more like Itch, I think. But
But yeah. Overall, we've been talking for a very long time. We're terrible at this.
Not as long as I thought. No, it's still fine. It's still fine.
But yeah, this is a lesson that just people need to learn because it's been done over and over. Remember Daikatana?
Oh yes, I remember Daikatana very well.
That man. Remember Destiny?
Oh god, Destiny wasn't that deep of a break. A lot of people were.
Remember,
but at least it worked.
You know about Halo?
Oh god, I give up on Halo. Like, come on, it's not worth it anymore.
You know about?
There are a lot of disappointing things.
You know about Half-Life 3?
It's never.
That'll never live up to anything.
It can't. It literally can. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they don't even try. I don't even think they try at this point. It's like, should we do Half-Life 3? And they're like, nah.
Let's just keep allowing really terrible games on Steam that offend a wide variety of people for the sake of memes.
Sure, why not? I mean, whatever gets the money into the bag.
But yeah, this is a lesson that the gaming community and media people just as a whole really should realize. Like, don't hype up stuff so much. Don't connect yourself to the products you want to and hopefully enjoy, because odds are pretty good it's not going to live up to anything. It's probably going to disappoint you in some way. And not in a cynical way, but more like a realistic way. I'm not saying like everything is terrible, so don't get excited for anything. You can look forward to something. Again, I look forward to Neo The World Ends With You, but be reasonable about it. You could be like, oh, hey, new Yakuza game. It's an RPG. You could use a giant vibrator for a weapon. Cool. You could summon a chicken to lay an egg and give you health back. That's cool. And that game, apparently that's turned out to be really, really good. I really want to play it. Man, Yakuza is funny. But you could look at stuff and be like, you will look forward to that. You can be excited for that. You could be hyped about it, but be reasonable. That's the lesson that we really need to learn, because it just keeps happening over and over and over again, and publishers keep putting out stuff and thinking the same thing will happen, and they think that because it keeps happening. Like, manage your expectations.
I think we have to all approach this more like the Transformers fandom. Like the Transformers fandom is really cool. Like they understand our fandom is about selling toys. We're just enjoying the stuff that has something to do with transforming toys. And we're like, just yeah, we know
Transforming
that.
robots. Cool.
It's transforming robots, and sure, we can approach this. Like we can have the funny memes. We can take that. A lot of people were hurt by some things. Like nobody will ever forgive Michael Bay for the Transformers movies. Nobody will ever do that. But we can make fun of it. We can enjoy
And
that.
wasting Megan Fox, she's actually a good actress. Like I'm just gonna say
I know. Like that's kind of the sad part, you know. Like Megan Fox's career just went completely
she's getting
down the
back.
drain.
She's getting back. She was in a
Yeah.
movie recently called Rogue, and apparently it's pretty good. I think. Let me look it up. All right, that's not bad.
I don't know. I think Jennifer's Body is still a really great movie.
Yeah, Jennifer's Body is a good movie, but that's really just the thing. Don't expect too much of one thing, because odds are pretty good that even if it's amazing, even if you think it can change your life, odds are good it's not going to be that. And you know, with the way things are nowadays, even if a game is amazing, it wasn't worth it because it took so much pain on the part of the developers that it really isn't worth it at the end of the day. So,
yeah,
I don't know, just manage expectations, support smaller game developers that aren't terrible companies like CDPR or Bethesda or Blizzard or Activision, which is like the same thing. Or a lot Ubisoft, that's another one. Warner Brothers.
It's kind of weird that the largest are also the shittiest.
I think that kind of goes hand in hand.
I know.
Nintendo. You know I had to do that.
Yes, but I understand that. Like I mean,
They're
look
terrible
at
towards the way they treat their fan base.
and not just that. I mean, think about Sakurai whenever he has to make a Smash game. Like, do you think it's fine that he has to sleep in his office? Do you think it's fine that he wastes all his life and has like at least threatened with divorce at least 3 times in his life?
Yeah, again,
Just
and
like
people defend Smash Ultimate because, like, oh, it's such a good game. We can play as so many characters. Well, it wasn't worth it.
it's like
Cyberpunk wasn't worth it. Witcher 3 wasn't worth it. Skyrim, never worth it. Smash Brothers Ultimate wasn't worth it. Manage your expectations and realize that these games, they hurt. They hurt people to make, and the CDPR shouldn't be getting free passes for this. So you can like what people make while still pointing out, hey, that's a pretty crappy thing you're doing. So just
we can enjoy
I don't know where I'm going
games.
with all this. Just don't.
We can enjoy the games, but we also have to be critical about them and who produces them.
Yeah.
Eh? Nice.
Yeah.
Good. Anything else?
Go play Jet Set Radio.
Okay, that's a good one.
You got any life lessons to end us off on?
I think the whole episode was a life lesson. I don't think I need to do anything more.
I know, but you usually end it on some silly random thing.
Let me think for a moment. Only you can prevent forest fires. I'm really bummed out today.
Hey, that's fine. That'll do. Bye.
Bye.